Hey everyone, welcome back to Wild Tales. I'm so excited to have you here for my third episode. First off, I want to thank each and every one of you who have stuck with me this far. It's been amazing hearing your feedback and seeing this community grow. Your messages, shares, and support mean so much to me, and I've been having a lot of fun talking to my wonderful guests. Honestly, I think I created this podcast just as an excuse to talk to my friends. And I highly recommend it. If you have friends you haven't talked with in a while, make a podcast. It's a good excuse to chat with them. Anyway, today is no different because I'm talking to my good buddy, the incredible Jungle Jordan. Jordan Veasley, better known as Jungle Jordan, is a wildlife educator, a digital creator who is on a mission to make learning about animals both fun and accessible. His energy and love for conservation is infectious, and it shines through his work. He is also a leader in promoting diversity in the animal care industry. I love watching his videos and chatting with this guy whenever I get a chance to. I encourage everyone to check out his work on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, all at JungleJordan23, and all that information and more can be found on his website, junglejordan.com. So without further ado, let me get to my good friend and his incredible story. Here's Jungle Jordan. How exciting, the countdown. So, hello, Jordan. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so glad to have you on Wild Tales. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm it's enjoying the morning here, the nice, brisk Seattle morning.
Great. I think I had the privilege of knowing you and being your friend since the 2019 at the Indianapolis AZK conference.
Yeah. Is that officially when we first met in person?
I think in person. We may have had some interactions through social media, but that's the first time I've seen you. I had the pleasure of being the famous Jungle Jordan.
No. No, I do remember that conference because it was one of my first conferences, and I was so nervous to go because I didn't know how I would fit in. You know, I always felt kind of different, and I was like, am I, it's like one of us kind of thing. Like, am I one of them? Like, am I actually a zookeeper? You know, it was weird. But then it felt even more weird to realize people knew who I was. And it felt really kind of like, I don't know, I was really nervous about it. It was like, oh, people know me, kind of.
I noticed that one of the first couple of days, people kind of gravitated towards you, I think, because they were aware of your social media platform and your videos, and some of them had a lot of, went semi-viral, semi-viral. Anyway, yeah.
It's semi. Definitely not mega. Definitely not.
Yeah, and I'm like, for some of these, keepers at small town zoos, that's celebrity status. For me being in Los Angeles, I'm like, and
because you see the real celebrity, and I'm just like little old zookeeper guy that doesn't a couple of emails here and there.
So what do you find out? Do you fit in?
Yeah, I definitely felt I felt super welcome there. It was almost overwhelming, but in a good way, because it was like I found my people. You know, like a lot of us have similar personalities. A lot of us have the same types of just how we think and how we behave and react, and it was very interesting. We think the same, and we like the same things, and we're all weird animal people. That was really nice.
That's completely accurate. We're all there for the same reason. We all have this common, passion and interest in animals and wildlife. And when did you start being a zookeeper?
Oh boy. Let me think about this. So, well, I first got into the zoo field at a very young age. So I grew up with ADHD, and I also had some anger management problems, dealing with anxiety that I didn't know existed. I didn't know anything about anxiety. I was a kid. I always was different. I was always seen as kind of like that kid that gets angry out of nowhere. So let's tease him, make him angry, right? Let's make it funny. And then, so like, I didn't like that, obviously, right? And so I would get into fights. And, my mom was like, well, he loves animals. I used to always love going to the zoo and just talking to strangers as a kid. That was always my thing. So let's try to get him involved with animals. And so she reached out to the local zoo when I was 11 to see if they'd take a volunteer at 11 years old. They said no initially, but she's persistent. She kept pushing, and it was like, okay, let's see it. Let's try him out. And so I got there. They saw how much I loved it, and I liked them, and they kept me. And so I became a volunteer at 11. So I've been involved with zoos since 11 years old. And so I stayed in it, volunteering, a couple jobs below zookeeper. My first zookeeper job, I think, as a zookeeper, it was probably 2014, maybe? 2014, so that was like my first actual keeper job. And I guess that's about 10 years ago as of right now. But I feel like I've been in this forever. I feel like I've been my entire life, right? 20 plus years.
I know the feeling. I have been in it forever. Actually, it making me feel kind of old knowing that I've been a zookeeper for 14 years by the time you started.
Okay. That's okay. But, right? Let's see, let's think about what year would that have been? Let's see. So that
2000. Oh, actually, I started 2001. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, guess what? In 2001 is when I started as a volunteer. So, right? So kind of the same?
Kind of the same. I'll take it. Well, nice thing, the fun thing about being a zookeeper or a zoo volunteer is, especially if you've been doing it for a long time, is you collect a lot of interesting stories. And I understand you have like one or two to share from your experience working with animals.
Definitely. I got a few. I have. It was actually kind of hard to even think about stories because a lot of times I feel like as a zookeeper, a lot of this stuff is so normal to me, and I forget that it's not normal for other folks, right? And I'm just like, oh, so I'm sure there's a lot of stories, but there are a couple that stick in my head, and one I can think about was somewhat traumatic. In the context is scarier than the event actually was. So should I just jump into it?
Jump into it. I'm down for a traumatic story. Let's go.
Okay. It's traumatic, sorry. We all have our traumas. So, this one basically happened earlier on. It was maybe 2015. I worked in a facility that was basically in the middle of a forest, in the middle of a beautiful setting, beautiful scenery. And there was one day, so we're surrounded by trees, and the animals that call this place home are all native animals to the state of Washington and the Pacific Northwest. And I remember there was a crazy windstorm, and remember we're surrounded by trees. And I'm walking along by my exhibit, looking by the beavers, and then all of a sudden I just hear this crack and this like squeaking noise, and then I just look to my left, and I just remember watching this tree start to lean. Huge, giant maple tree, really big. It's definitely an older tree, and I was like, okay, that tree is definitely falling. Okay, and I'm watching it along. I'm going along with it. I'm like, oh, that is going towards the black bear exhibit. Okay, and I'm the only one watching this tree fall. And I'm just like, okay, and the black bear fence is down. Okay, it fell. This tree, giant tree, fell on the black bear barrier fencing. I'm just like, that scene in Jurassic Park when Malcolm is in the car, and he's like, all right, wait, is he in the car? No, he's on the back of the car when he's already hurt. He's like, okay, that's a trimmer. I'm slightly alarmed now. So that was me with this tree falling down. And I'm just like, okay, don't panic, but panic. So I'm a young keeper at this point. I'm like, all right. We had an intern that was nearby me. She was like in like the food prep area. So I ran over there. I said, hey, stay in here, get on the radio, call the other interns, have them get in this room and lock the door. And I called the other zookeepers on the radio. I said, hey, black bear fence is down, tree fell, we got to take care of it. So everybody rushed in or by the, like we have like a congregation area, and they grabbed the safety gear. They called basically the safe team, or like the people that are firearms trained and all that. And then we're all wearing rain gear because it was really wet and rainy also. So keep this in mind. We're all wearing rain gear. So the team sprints down to the black bear holding area. They slam open the gate. They rush in. And in the holding areas, guess who was in there?
Both the bears in there, or the bear? How many bears do you have?
Two. Both of the bears were fully sleeping in the holding area. Gates open. Like what? They have access. They have access. They have access to the exhibit, right? And but the keeper's running in there and making that noise and with the swishing around and slamming up the gates. The bears woke up, got scared, and ran out into the exhibit.
Oh no.
Okay. But they didn't get that far. They stayed semi-close to the holding entrance door, and I'm still up on the upper area by the where the tree went down, and everyone's like, "Oh God, what if they get out?" Okay, like we can't do that, right? I just remember standing next to one of the safe team. He had the one of the weapons up there just in case. And then the horticulture guy, I remember running down with his, he had a chainsaw, and he basically was doing his best to like trim down the tree portion where the fence was down. This is like, that's after slightly. It was like in between. They did their best to kind of like fix it slightly real quick, and the bears did calmly come back inside. Like before everything else happened. And so they got closed in, and then that's when this stuff started happening. That's when the chainsaw work started happening.
That's when all the keepers can breathe again.
Yes, I just remember. I remember telling my mom this story, and I remember, or I forget. No, I think I was my ex-wife. I remember telling them the story, and I remember just this like 3 emojis. I remember 3 emojis, or no, it was a few emojis. It was like a story. It was the shocked face, a tree, a bear, right? A shocked face, tree, bear, and then the next line was a cloud of smoke. And the guy running. So that was me. I just remember okay, I gotta go. Now, but let me explain this though. Out of all that, the question I used to get when this story comes up, were there people there? Luckily, this zoo closed during the week in the late fall season. So no guests were there. I was like, but there were still people around, right?
What?
Staff and interns and I think there was no volunteers. There were definitely interns there though. It was, oh man, it was scary.
No, that's wild. I would have thrown in a poop emoji after all getting their one.
Wait, did she do this? I can't remember. She may have. No, I can't remember now because I just remember I think I told her when she was at work, And I think she sent me all those like emojis, like, you know, because she couldn't like really text all the way, but she found all the emojis really fast, I guess. I don't know. I'll never forget that scene out of my mind, because it was just like one of the most intense moments. It felt like it lasted forever, but it was like probably, God, I don't know. It felt like an hour, but it was only like 20 minutes or less. Not even 20 minutes. Might have been like, I don't know, 10. I don't know. Like we responded so quickly. Like they were a well-trained team. I was really proud to be a part of that team. It was a cool place. I do miss working there.
Right. It's it's terrifying because you envision all the potential scenarios that could have happened. But thankfully your zoo, I believe, almost all zoos, quality zoos, I guess, train for events like this. They train for animal escapes, potential animal escapes. I live in LA. We train for we have drills for earthquakes, fires, animal escapes, etc. So yeah, it does show when a true emergency actually occurs how well trained and prepped all the staff are to be there on a moment's notice, and everyone knows their job. Everyone knows exactly what to do. So that thankfully ended up being not a horrific ending in the story, and both the bears and everyone. One is safe at the end.
Yeah. I just want to say, it's an AZA facility.
Yeah, AZA, American Association of Zookeepers, or American Association of Zoos. They have to adhere to a higher quality of standard than other zoos are not accredited. I would say, if a tree was to land on a exhibit fence, bears are scary. I can think of a handful of scarier animals that could happen to.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
If I was horseshoes,
gosh, I can't even.
Yeah, if I was to shoot bears, I would hang out and help and see how I can assist. Chimpanzees, I might be out of there.
Gone, leaving, opposite way, never coming back.
You guys are all doing your own.
Come back a few days later.
Yeah. Everything worked out okay? All right, I'm back to work. That may be my number one. I did not want to be involved in this scenario. Even big cats, I'm not as terrified than chimpanzees.
No, yeah. With big cats though, it's very, I don't know. Their behavior to me is more predictable. I don't know.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like chimpanzees are more. They're predictable for being unpredictable.
Exactly.
I don't know. They're just. Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah. That's great. That's a good one. It's one to tell. How was it like being a zookeeper? Oh, it's great. Sometimes you have to deal with a potential bear escape, but that's what we're trained for. And, hopefully the tree provided good enrichment for the other animals later.
Oh yeah, we definitely actually they actually used some of the stumps to give to the grizzly bear, which was next door at the time. It was an old female at the time, I believe, an old female. And then that we gave some branches to. Who did we give the branches to? Well, basically everybody. So the other cool thing about this facility, so there's like the zoo portion, but there's also a free roam, what we call the free roam section. So that area is this place is on 700 acres plus. The place is huge, right? And we have that, what we call the free roam, where you take a tram tour through the facility where all these animals are kind of just roaming free, right? Like the, bison, elk, deer, bighorn sheep, mountain goats, moose, all these things. And they would put like a bunch of the leaves from the tree out there for the animals to eat, browse. And then, so your drafts have been very happy with this, and it was a fun time.
Yeah, that's always my first question. When the tree falls down, what kind of tree is it? Can my animals eat it? Oh, and are all the animals safe? Maybe that should be the first question. Afterwards, I don't know. Yeah. That's fantastic. I'm sure that's one of many stories, and I'll have to have you back on to share more in the future. But all I can say is thanks. That's great. Love having you on. I honestly, this podcast is just an excuse to talk to you because I don't get to do it hardly enough. Because we're both busy in our animal careers.
Yeah. I wish I could actually have. I want to meet. I want to do something. I don't know if this will ever happen, but I do want to try to find a way to do like zookeeper hangouts, but it's hard because we're all over the place, right?
We're spread out literally all over the world.
Yeah, in that, because we're such a niche group of people.
Yeah,
and I have learned though that there are a few organizations out there where we can meet virtually, and I guess that's the way to do it. I just wish there was a way we could all teleport and see each other in person faster.
Yeah, that would be the way to do it. Future technology, it'll arrive before our time.
That's right. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll end it there. Thank you very much. Any parting words before we disconnect?
Make sure you guys go check out some of my stuff. I go by Jungle Jordan on all the platforms. You can find me, and tell me some fun zoos or aquariums that you think I should go visit.
I totally agree. He's a great follow. Thank you very much. Take care. Big thanks to Jordan for being a guest on my podcast, and you heard the man. Follow him. He's easy to find. Just search for Jungle Jordan. He's at Jungle Jordan 23. He's got some great videos, very entertaining and educational. And let me tell you, when I started, just the idea of creating this podcast, Jordan is one of the first people I reached out to because I knew, one, he'd be a great guest, and two, he'd be very helpful and inspiring me to proceed, because I had this idea, but I was kind of hesitant to even start recording. And he's very good at motivating people to achieve their goals, and I really admire that about him. So he's always a good person for me to reach out to when I need some inspiration. And it's always good to have friends like that in your life, that if you need a little push, you can reach out for them, and they'll guide you in the right direction, hopefully. So yeah, shoot him a message. Let him know what's your favorite zoo, or what zoo that he should visit if he hasn't yet. He's on a mission to visit zoos throughout the country, throughout the world. You can even message me. Let me know what's your favorite zoo or wildlife educational facility. You can do that on Instagram at Wild Tails Pod. That is Tails, Tails, like the animal's tails. Come on, it's a pun. We've gone over this. Stop giving me a hard time about it. You guys get it. It's fun, right? It's fun. Or you can email me. It's wildtailspod@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the podcast, and shoot me a message. Say hi. You guys can go on your favorite podcast playing format and rate the show, but only if you like it. If you don't like it, there's no pressure to rate it. So we'll leave you there. Thank you again. We'll try that again. Thank you again for joining. I get a little tongue-tied at the end of the show. Anyway, I'm really excited about our guest next week, but or I guess it's every 2 weeks, but you have to wait until that podcast drops to find out who it's going to be. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay wild, my friends.